Hey there, welcome to Chief's Shop and to Hey Chief, where I answer your questions about woodworking and projects in general. Today I'm going to cover a few questions that I receive on a regular basis, so I thought it'd be a good idea to cover those in an episode of Hey Chief. And the first one is about dust collection, and specifically in relation to miter saws. They produce a heck of a lot of dust, and I know some folks that have their miter saws on portable stands, and they will roll them outside when they got to make a lot of cuts on it. And that's one solution. Folks that they can't do that run into that problem. I've designed a plan with a hood, which I have not put it in place here yet. I've got it in the shop over here where I test build it and everything, and want to incorporate that in. A hood will cover up the top of the saw and allow you to port in either a shop vac or a dust collection system, and it can draft down back behind the saw when you're cutting. Now that doesn't necessarily help at the point of contact with the blade to the wood, where the dust is coming out there. So it's a big mess no matter what you do. When I don't have anything hooked up, I simply will have my shop vac at hand and make a cut and then clean up after it. So not an elegant solution, but you know, if you've got a nice big shop with a big huge dust collection system, you don't have that problem anyway. So this is really not for you guys. This is really for the guys with small shops. One way, after you've been in the shop for a while, you've done your cleanup and you want to get rid of the finer particles, a lot of people will take a box fan and strap a HVAC filter to it, and run that fan for a while, and that will draft up everything and collect it into that filter. And I know of some folks, even in cabinet shops, that have several of those set up while they're sanding to draft it out, even if they've got a sander like I have here connected to the shop vac. There's still particles coming out, and they'll use that system. Really simple. You know, you can get a box fan for a little 20-inch box fan for anywhere from $15 to $20 and on up. And the filters obviously are pretty cheap, so you can set those up. There's even people that set those on timers and run them after they leave the shop, have them run for 20-30 minutes or however long after they've left, you know, the shop working in it, and it'll draft up particles that way. So that's a good solution there. My next question is about upgrading a table saw from a benchtop design, a mid-grade saw. And basically what that's referring to is a contractor saw, sometimes called a job site saw too. You're looking at $400 to $600 range, $500 being right in the middle, obviously, for expenses on that. I would make sure that it's something on a portable stand. Most of them are contractor saws. It's what I use. I don't have a cabinet saw, which can run you up into the thousands. But for folks wanting to step up from the benchtop design, which is a smaller footprint, smaller table, to contractors, which is a much larger table, you're going to step up to that price range. Brand names, you know, stick with a good one. Something you know. I use a Hitachi, which is several years old. I like it. It works for me. But any of the good names that you're aware of, Bosch makes a good job site saw people like. Porter Cable makes a job site saw that a lot of folks like. You know, you can get up into the Jets and those higher range saws. You're spending a little bit more money there, but your quality is there. Get what you can afford. You're going to be stepping up from the $99, $150 benchtop saws. You're spending several more $100s, but it's a quality investment. And one of the things you're paying for is you're going obviously from size, but you're going from a direct drive system where the motor is directly connected to the arbor spinning the blade, to a belt-driven system where the belt drives the arbor from the motor. And one of the inherent problems you get into that over a period of time is vibration in that belt. The belt needs to be replaced, like a belt on any other machinery that runs belts, large industrial fans, and belts in your car. They need to be replaced over a period of time, and that vibration can cause issues with the blade wobbling and things like that. So a bit more maintenance there. You got maintenance in any tool, obviously, but I keep, in addition to my contractor saw, I have a little benchtop saw that I use if I'm working with particularly treated lumber. I want to keep all that lovely treated material, which is wet a lot of times, out of my saw. And if you set some wet treated lumber on your cast iron tabletop of your saw, you will regret it, because you will have nice little rust areas all over it because of that moisture and the chemical treatments in the lumber. So, but look to spend somewhere around $500. Pick a good brand that you're aware of. Read reviews. I always tell you that. I'm not necessarily going to stick with give a recommendation for a particular brand, because I've used a lot of different ones, and each one has its own characteristics that are great and characteristics that are not so great. So, but look at that, $500. Pick a good brand and make sure it's mobile. And my last question, I get probably once a week, people asking me, what program do I use for my sketch of the day and for creating plans and any of the graphics that I work on. I clearly use SketchUp for sketch of the day and for a lot of the work in my plans. Now, SketchUp doesn't necessarily take care of everything, so I will take the SketchUp file that I export and bring it into an illustration program and do some tweaking there as needed. And then I bring all that in, all the graphics that I've created, the logos and things, come into a page layout program. And I do all the tweaking there, put it together, and then export that as a PDF. So it's, I come from a publishing background, so I've done that for many years, so it's second nature to me. So when I create a plan, that's what I do. I have used other illustrating programs and other CAD programs to create plans, but I find it really quick and easy to use a SketchUp, and it's what most people can relate to because it's a free program to download. I've had people ask me about doing tutorials for it, and it's not something I'm into right now. That's a little more time intensive and something that kind of goes a little bit beyond what I'm trying to focus on. There are a lot of folks that have done it. I know a lot of the woodworking magazines are selling DVDs that show you how to use it, and in SketchUp. And I know there's some online things you can do, and I know even the SketchUp itself, it's not owned by Google anymore, but there are some tutorials there, and I think there are a lot of forums you can find on how to use it. My number one tip for that is, for learning how to use SketchUp, is just play around with it. I've never done a tutorial on it. I've never followed one. I've been using SketchUp for so long that I know, just from using it, I know what I need to do. I probably don't exploit all the power that it has. I don't necessarily need to at this point, but I think it's probably the best and easiest tool that most people can use that will allow you to do all your kind of planning and prepping for creating a project prior to even pulling out the measuring tape or cutting the first piece of wood. And you can know what all dimensions you need and angles and things like that. Now, it's not perfect, so when I say that, I mean that it is perfect in a sense that when you're on the computer and you join pieces together, everything is perfect and there's no forces of gravity or tension or anything applying there. So it's easy just to kind of pop things together and it works. What goes for me, what happens from a SketchUp sketch of the day to a plan is that there are a lot of testing procedures that go in between, or I do a sketch and then I try to make it into a plan. I realize, oh, that dimension is not going to work because of this, or this is not held securely here, and I've got to adjust that. So sometimes you'll see where my sketches differ from the plan, although it's the same overall look of a project. When it becomes a plan, it's a little bit different. And the reason is because what I just stated, the testing that goes into it and make sure that things are secure, things are going to hold, and all that, because of, on the computer it's perfect, in the real world it's not going to work. So things you need to be aware of there. And that's one reason why I've had a lot of people ask me for the SketchUp files, and I know a lot of the people provide SketchUp files. I won't do that for anything that's not a tested project. So I don't want to give you a SketchUp file that hasn't been fully vetted, where I've gone through and made sure things are going to work, or I've tested that that particular part of the project here in the shop. I don't want you to try to build something off of a sketch that I've done. No matter how great your skills are, I don't want you to be misled in thinking that it's going to work when it doesn't. So that's why I don't give you a SketchUp file of a sketch of the day. Now, something I'm considering for final plans that I may do in the future if I get a lot of requests for those, because it's easy to adjust dimensions as you need for your personal situation. But right now, it's not something I'm going to do for the sketch of the day, but again, may consider for plan of the week. Well, I've covered a lot, and these are questions, like I said, that I've gotten several times recently and over the years, and I wanted to address those for this episode of Hey Cheap. Now, for future episodes, I'd like for you to send me your questions, and don't think that any question is too stupid or too complicated, whatever. I've got a couple in the hopper now. One particularly is going to be a little bit complicated because it's about adjusting the blade and wheels on a bandsaw. So I've got to do a little bit of research in that particular brand of saw that this person's dealing with, and he's going to send me some pictures and all that. So that's great too. If you've got a picture of a problem, email that to me as well, because I can look at it. That'll help a lot of times. Like they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. That'll help me to kind of diagnose whatever the issue is. So please email me, chief@chiefshop.com, or you can post it on Facebook, or you can post it in the comment section of this video, any other videos, anywhere. I check everything all the time, so you can reach me one way or the other with a question. Well, that covers it. I hope you found these useful, and like I always say, time to get off the computer, get into the shop, make some sawdust.